Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into BARAKA TUPU TV. This is Kagame Bernard, your host, and I'll be talking to you more about Christian life and Christian walk, and so that I may give hope to those that have no hope at all, and even give courage to those who feel that they need encouragement. Have you ever thought about your Christian walk and your Christian life with God? Have you ever thought of how God would react if you go astray and become someone different from what He is expecting? Have you ever thought of your children walking on your line as a parent and get to know what is all about your kid? Well, today I'll have a guest who will be talking to us more about that, and at the end of the day, there will be a smile to those who have lost it, and at the end of the day, there will be a rejuvenation of those people who feel that this interview was meant for them. So thank you and welcome. Keep following us on the YouTube, that is BARAKA TUPU TV, and I'll be taking you story by story until we are all nourished. Welcome, and how are you doing?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kagame. Glad for having me here. My name is Edwin Gitau. I'm born again. Christ is Lord over my life. My story is not that complicated, but it is a testimony of hope. I believe it is a testimony of hope, of what God can do.
Right.
I'm a father of two beautiful children and many others. You know, kuna koma pale, hakuna full
What do you
stop.
mean with many others?
With many others, because I believe, you know, in the African setup, the father is not just limited to the nuclear family.
Okay.
The father is even, it is an extension of even in the community. So I believe when I see a child walking, I can be able to father a child.
Okay.
Just even by giving a word of instruction.
All right.
So I'm a father to many.
Okay.
Both spiritually, because I'm a pastor, and also to my biological children. Yes, so, and I'm married to one wife, and we are blessed of the Lord.
Oh, that's good. I thought when you're talking about fathering children, I thought you have other children away from you too. Okay, so how did you start? Where does your life start?
I was born in a place called Kawangware.
Kawangware. That is in Nairobi County.
Is in Nairobi County. Then we moved to a place called Komarok. So in Komarok is where now I began life. I began as I was growing, is when now I began to know myself. And living in Komarok was a pleasant time, but also it was kind of I was kind of a mischievous child since I was a young boy. I was very inquisitive, wanted to know this and that. And at some point in my life, when I was young, we had a very rough childhood. So coming from a very rough childhood, I began to have a an interest in rebellion. Let me say in rebellion.
Okay. All right.
Because
so to you, rebellion became as an interest. Started as an interest.
As an interest.
All right.
Coming from a background of a kind of a broken family, not completely broken, but if I may say this, is that I lost my mother when I was very young.
Okay.
So that gap of losing my mother and my father was the kind of people we call workaholic. He was very busy. So there was a gap there. And because of that gap, I started getting mischievous, started walking with the big boys, started roaming the streets and loving the streets, yani ile tunaitanga mtaa, kupenda mtaa. So nikaanza kupenda tu mtaa na kupenda vijana wa mtaa, wale wakubwa. Okay. Nikaanza kuwafuata. So going to school, in primary school, walking with the big boys, I would find myself nikitoroka shule. I'm not in school, but I'm walking with the big boys when wamekataa shule.
Okay.
So that developed until now myself I started deviating. Instead of going to school in the morning, I would go my own ways. I would go walk with them, I would go stay with them, I go just do whatever they were doing. And that's where I started using vitu kama cigara.
Smoking.
Yeah, I started smoking when I was very young. The first cigarette I remember, it was about class 6.
Class 6, that
Class
was
6.
your first smoking?
Yes. Because I would see the big boys smoking, and I don't know where that interest would come from. So I would be interested, what are they doing? I want to do what they are doing.
All right.
Yes.
So when you talk about you start sneaking out of schools and going to join big boys in the street, does it mean there was no other person ahead of you or someone within your family after the death of your mother that could take care of you?
I'm the second born in our family. The second, our firstborn is a lady. She's called Rosalind. She was at that time when I was about we are the difference of our ages is about 6 years. So I may not remember the many parts of our childhood, but I remember that being a sister and I'm a male, there's a kind of a rebellion. That you tend to rebel. My sister, unaniambia nini? So you want to do your own thing because you feel you are man enough. What is this lady telling you? So yeah, she was there. She was guiding us, but we were always at loggerheads.
All right. Okay.
Yes. So in our school where we used to go to the same school, even my smaller brother, we are 3 by the way in our family. She was way ahead of me. So for me, I would always love her friends who were doing whatever they were doing at that time. So I would always try to
what is
sneak.
this that they were doing that you right?
The big boys, the mischievous boys. Of course, smoking and just not going to school and just rebelling and just doing noise making, vitu kama hizo unajikuta. Yes, those kind of things. So when I started developing interests of it too, I'm working with the big boys because my sister is now working. She's way ahead of me. So najikuta, napenda vile hawa vijana wanafanya. I don't know where that interest would come from. So nikaanza kata shule na nikajikuta in my primary life nilikata shule. I think I remember it was twice because nilikuwa naenda najificha wakati wa kwenda shule. But funny thing is that God will always come through for me because sikujikuta grades zangu zimeenda chini.
Let's go back to smoking habit. How was the first experience? Did you smoke the first stick completely, or you just smoked once and you stopped, or that was the genesis of you smoking?
I remember vividly that day. There was a man I saw who was smoking. So when this guy finished, nakatupa ile kitu. So when he went, nilikimbia hapo nikaichukua.
Right.
So nikaichukua, nikaanza kuvuta vile nilikuwa naona anafanya. So that was the genesis of that journey of using things like cigarettes.
And that time you're in class 6.
That was now in class 6. And then there was also an uncle of mine who would always encourage us. Shika hii, those uncles who unfortunately who like to spoil the nephews. And he would always encourage me, shika hii. And of course, being mischievous and being interested, I would try myself. And that was the genesis. And I remember in class 8 that was the first time.
Class 8.
Class 8. I tasted bang.
So when you in class 8 you graduated from smoking cigarette, now you are taking banging.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was now after we finished the KCPE. And for information, my KCPE I did well. I had 402 marks. 402 marks.
402 marks.
Yes.
All right.
That time we were doing out of 800. So I was not a done.
You were among the best in your school, we can say so, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now after KCPE, you have to go to high school with the same habit of smoking marijuana and cigarettes. All right. Is there anything else apart from those two?
Now, when I got into high school is when now things began escalating because I remember the first day I was taken to school by my dad. The first time I joined that school, that was in February. I remember now there was a friend of ours who was our neighbor back at home, Komarok. The school was in Meru.
Okay.
So that friend was among the so-called bad boys. And he was smoking and Meru, there is this miraa that they use a lot.
Yeah.
So because I would see him doing that and in school, and so I wanted to be his friend more. And because he knew me, we were able to connect. So from there, I began using miraa and smoking
and other
even
hard
more.
stuffs.
Yeah, and even hard. Kuna vitu zingine zinaitangwa kuber.
It's a kind of a drug?
It's a kind of a tobacco that you chew. Yes, nikaanza kutumia that kuber, and I was smoking at that time. I was kutumia miraa.
So this is a Form 1 student.
This is a Form 1 student.
A smoker.
Yes.
And a taker of all those drugs.
Yes.
And you want to join high school with high expectations. And who is taking you to school this time? Because your mother is gone, your father is busy. Who is taking you to school this time?
When we lost our mom, in that period of losing my mom, God came through for us because fortunately my dad was able to marry again, and we got such a wonderful mother.
Okay.
She's a wonderful lady who now took us as her own children.
All right.
And she raised us, and she loved us, and she gave us the love that we missed because of when we lost our mother.
Right.
So she has been with us even to date. She's our mom. We love her dearly.
Even if she became your mother, you still did not respect her because you're still smoking.
Yes.
Thank you, parent, wherever you are. It's good to know the kind of a friendship or company that your children has. You don't need to be busy for them. You also need to go and talk to them. Share your heart with them. Let them have a friend. Beside being the parent, let them be your friend, and they will smoke everything for you so that you may give them the proper guidance. Our guest here is now joining high school. He is a smoker. He is taking hard drugs, and we do not know for how long this will continue. It is good to keep eyes on your children. Now, you are in Form 1.
Yes.
The life starts.
Yes.
Let's go on.
Now, from that time, that was in February, I began that. And I remember every time I would be having trouble. Most of the time, I'm not in class.
Okay.
And I started having trouble with the teachers. And the teachers would call me kichwa ngumu.
Okay.
And from there, I remember I was suspended the first term of joining Form 1.
The first year, first term,
the first term
being suspended.
Already I've gotten 2 weeks suspension.
Okay.
Because of now working with the big boys and using all these, and the teachers are seeing what I'm doing. So, and the head teacher used to love me. I would tell me, please stop working with these boys, big boys, because you've come here to learn. Just
concentrate on what
your
brought you here.
studies. Yes. But there was just something rebellious that was pushing me to the other way. So I found myself, I'm not in class. And I remember I would be in the field, kule chini kwa uwanja, where nobody goes, and we are just there with other boys, Form 4s, and we are using whatever we are using. When I go to class, I can't even go to class. I just go kwa dirisha, na nakaa hapo kwa dirisha, ninasomea kwa dirisha. I remember very well. And so I got a suspension. Second time I also got a suspension. Now when third term was about to begin, that is where I remember the first day we were supposed to report to school for the third term. I remember that day we went somewhere for shopping. And we entered the supermarket, and then
you and who?
With the other boys. Other boys, my peers now. We got into the supermarket. I don't know what was happening. We went to the shelves and we picked liquors.
So what had you gone to the supermarket for?
I cannot be able to tell.
But you were able to pick?
We went and picked liquors.
Okay.
And we were hiding them in our body.
So you stole liquors from the supermarket?
Yes.
Okay.
So unfortunately we got caught. Sasa hapo is when now we were asked which school we were supposed to report to, and the school was called, and the next day, I remember tulifungwa hadi mikono, and the principal was called and was told.
How many were you?
We were like, I remember, I don't know, we were more than 5.
More than 5 boys,
Yes,
notorious boys.
very notorious boys. We were more than 5. So when he was called, I remember that day he said that we should not report there. We should go back to our homes.
That the principal saying?
The principal.
Okay.
But now, you see, the parent has already released you to go to school.
All right.
He or she knows you are in school.
All right.
But now something has happened that you cannot go tell your parent what has happened.
What did you do?
So we just lingered around that supermarket, because now when the principal intervened, we were released. Those days were not like these days.
Right.
So you were released and we were told to go to school. But of course, we didn't go to school.
Okay.
We still pursued the mischievous ways. And I remember the next day is when now we were supposed to go to school. I remember I went to school the next day. And now I went, and the head teacher called me. He was called Maurice.
Which school is this?
The school is called Igochi.
Igochi
Boys.
That is in Meru.
In Meru.
The producer of the notorious boys of that time.
Of that time. So I remember the third term. Now the head teacher called me when I went to school now. And that is when now he told me, hey, you've become too much for us.
Right.
And we've given you suspension. I've told you to come with your parent. You've not come with your parent. Just come the way you are. Now we cannot be able to have you any longer here.
Right.
So I was expelled. I didn't go home.
This is the second time or the first time?
Now this is the first time I was expelled.
All
now
right.
that is in Form 1.
In Form 1. First term.
First term. The third term now, I've been expelled in third term now.
Hey.
So I didn't go home.
You didn't go home?
I took my belongings. I didn't go home.
Where did you go?
I went to my friends.
Okay. Who was still were expelled as you were?
Because hii mambo ya mtaa, I don't know what ilikuwa imeniingia, but I didn't go home. I went to our estate, but not our home.
Oh, okay.
So I was around,
but not in your home.
But not in my home. I was with my neighbors, and I would sleep outside.
Did your parents know that?
For the first 2-3 days, they didn't know. They thought I was in school. But I remember I had the news that my dad, now finally when he had the news, he was looking for me. I remember I went home before my dad came from work. I went home to change and to shower. Unfortunately, my aunt locked the house.
So that you may not escape.
So I may not escape. Now I was locked inside. So when my dad came in the evening, I got a thorough beating.
Okay.
And
okay.
My dad really he really beat me up and roughed me up. And I remember the first opportunity I got to flee from his hands. I ran away from home. The same day was that night. I even didn't sleep home.
Okay.
Nenda nikaruka ukuta na nikaenda. Nikarudi kule nilikuwa ninalala. So na nikaendelea kamta.
So you've been told to bring your parent.
Yes.
The father has given you a thorough beat.
Yes.
Now you have ran away from home. So when are you going to bring your parent back to school?
Now, from that time after I ran home, away from home, I remember I went to a friend's house who was staying in Kayole. I stayed there for 1 week. But I would come around our estate, nisikie vile kunaendelea, and I would be told by neighbors, just go back home, go back home. And my mom really played a big role for me to go back.
All right.
So my mom sent my friends to talk to me.
Okay.
So I was able to go.
All right.
And yes, I was able to go. My dad that time, we tried to go back to the school.
He accepted taking you back to school.
I accepted to go back.
All right, together with him.
Yes. So, but the school didn't want me.
Okay.
So the decision was final at that time. So he said, okay, we'll go to another school. So I stayed home till that year ended. Now in Form 2 now.
That whole year?
I stayed home.
You stayed at home, not going to school?
It was third term. So
what were you doing?
I was just, I don't know, I was just there.
And what was the relationship between you and your parent at that time that you're in the house, you're supposed to be in school, you're returning in the village? What exactly was going on in there?
For my dad, we were not in good terms.
Okay.
But it was my mom who really played a big role for me to be at home, because the love that she had for us really was able to calm my dad down. So my dad would allow me to be at home. But I remember he would say that he will not take me to school because the kind of things that he has had me do, he doesn't want to waste his money. But my mom was there just trying to intervene and just calming him down. So I stayed that time. So January, I was supposed to report to Form 2.
Okay.
So we found another school.
Okay.
So I was taken to another school. By the way, I went for those 4 years, I've gone to 4 schools.
So each year
with a different school.
Okay.
So
when you went back to school, is it Form 1 or Form 2?
No, I went to Form 2.
And you had not been schooling?
For the first time, I had some good marks because I was a bright student, yes, but it's just that I was not able to stay much in class.
All right.
But my performance was not that bad.
So you were accepted?
I was accepted, yeah. So for Form 2, I went to another school in Thika now.
A boarding or a day school?
It was a boarding still. Right. So my dad agreed to take me, so we went to that school in Thika. And it began well, ikatulia kidogo. But then I still went back to my rebellious ways because I remember it was at the end of January.
Same term?
The same term.
You did not even pause?
The same, I didn't even pause. I didn't pause. I just continued. I met another friend there who was like me. So it was peer pressure. And I usually tell the young people that be careful of the choices you're making in life because the choice you make will affect your entire life. Right. And affect your future. You may think that you are doing something wise presently, but you don't know at your latter days how the decisions you made will affect your later days.
True. So you're in a new school, you got a new body.
Yes.
So you still continue with the lifestyle.
It was a very strict school, a very good school.
What is the name of the school?
It was called Kairi Boys. Very good school. So from there, I nikakaa kama nimetulia, but now I still worked with the big boys, and in that school there was a lot of monolization.
Bullying.
It was crazy. I would get beaten up so much because I remember the first day I was admitted, they came to take my box, the Form 4s. Now when one of them touched my box, nakumbuka nilimshika mashati. The first day I was admitted.
Okay.
So from that day it was hell for me.
Okay.
Because all the Form 4s will just
revenge
at this Form 2 is who
has horns.
Yes, who does he think he is? So I would be fighting with them every time. Get beaten, beat up some, get beaten. It was crazy. And I remember with those who were using whatever they were using at that time, the big boys who were using hizo bangi na sigara, who would na changa. That school there was a lot of changa. So I remember we would even mix zile chemicals za lab with ethanol. Would mix ethanol with water and drink. I'm telling you what it did to my stomach. I started experiencing. I had ulcers.
Let's go back. You go to a laboratory.
Yes.
You mix ethanol and water and drink as what?
As liquor, as alcohol.
Okay.
You're looking for something to get you high.
Okay.
So that time I started having ulcers because we would take a lot of ethanol. It was crazy.
Okay.
And of course we would hide and use whatever we were using. And sooner or later the head teacher found out what I was doing. I was a new student. I was now working with the big boys. And I got warnings, but still I continued. I remember I got a suspension because of
another one.
I got a suspension
in another school. Okay.
Now this was because of changa. I was caught with changa. Local brew. That now you have ordered from the local kijiji, and now imeletwa shule because of the test ile ethanol tuko tumezoea in the lab.
Right.
So we'd find the local brew kwa mtaa, and it would be brought and we would pay. I was found out and I was given a suspension. And I remember when I was given a suspension, my dad, I think it was my dad that came. No, it was my mom, because I remember my mom came and we sorted the matter. But still I continued with whatever I was doing that time. Then I got another second suspension.
Hey. Within the first term?
Within now the second term.
Oh, now the first time you were suspended
once, yeah.
And now you were in the second term.
Second
You're
term,
still taking your Ethano.
We're taking our changa, our local brew. We are still smoking bang. You are still smoking cigar. You are being warned. You are rebellious. You are fighting with everybody, and you are the teachers. The teachers are complaining that you are. Nilikuwa nachapwa sana na walimu because nikiwa kule nyuma ni just making noise, not concentrating.
Let me understand your mind. What's going on in your mind at this particular time? Because you are in a good school. The parents are very, very much committed in making sure that you are not out of school due to school fees. What is going in your mind?
I cannot be able to tell. That's why it's very important, as you said, for parents to be constantly talking to their children to find out what is this child, what is this young man, a young woman thinking. Where does he want to go in life? What does he want to do? Things like that. Engaging them. Because once you engage them, you're able to know this is a red flag, this is a problem. This you can be able to see their line of thought.
Okay.
So I got a second suspension. And now third time I was expelled.
The third term.
The third term of now Form 2 now was expelled. And I remember that time my dad was really angry. He was it's beyond angry, because at that time he said, you I don't think you are my son. And he said, that's why he said, you're not my son. I don't want you.
Your father now disowns you.
He disowns me because of what I've been doing. And I was kind of even insulting my dad, because I remember that many times I would hurl abuses at my dad.
So you would open your mouth to abuse your father?
Yes, I know I have done that.
Several times?
Several times. And
your father didn't kill you?
And my father was
never took you to prison?
My father is patient.
Parents, it's very good to understand this. Whenever you decide to work with your child, no matter how big, no matter how much money you have, no matter how busy your schedule is, you need to know exactly what's going on behind your child's studies. Edwin is in his second school and he has been expelled. He's even abusing his father, using hard words to his father. Now, we don't know how wrong will this take, and we don't know how wrong will this progress. But we want to know at the end of the day, when will this stop? How will it come to the end? What will be the role of the parent, the teacher, the community, the church, and the government to make sure that everything changes for the better of this son of the nation? Therefore, we go on, and we want to know, the second year is done, and now we're in the third year, in that school. Which school now did you go, and after what?
Now my third, it was in 2003 now. This Form 2 it was in 2002. So when I was expelled, when my dad said he disowned me, my mother took up the issue. So she said, okay, let's not take him to a boarding school, because I still believe in him. I know he's bright. Let us bring him closer.
To the school, to home.
To home.
Yes.
So they took me to
a day school. Okay.
So I joined.
Was that a good choice? Was that a good?
It was a good school. It was just a fairly good school. But for me, I thought, okay, this is good now. So, I was taken to school. I joined 2003 now, their school, Buruburu High, because we've grown Kula Islands. So, Buruburu was not a bad school. But then I had friends who were walikuwa Makanga. So I would just love the life they were living.
Okay.
Becoming
a matatu tout.
The flamboyant, matatu, you are hanging on this. The music is loud. You're not paying fare. The music is loud.
That's what you wanted.
So I saw that and I was very interested, and I started loving it. So now
So how are you going to mix it? Now you're a student and you want to become a matatu tout. Now how are you going to mix it up?
My dad decided he will be the one taking me to school and making sure I enter the school.
Okay.
So when he takes me and he leaves me school, he goes, I would make sure at break time I'm not in the school.
You sneak.
I sneak out.
Okay.
So I would always sneak out.
And you sneak and you go where?
Kwa mtaa sasa. So tunaenda kwa zile mat sasa Manganya. Konde Manganya sasa. Huko kuna vijana waitwa kama Gera. So you go and stay with them. Unaona hao wanga wanajaza matatu. Wanajaza wanapewa kinyo wanapewa.
Okay.
So I would find myself I would stay with them. And nakaa hapo
this time with your school uniform.
Now what I would do in my bag, I would carry my clothes na change.
Okay.
Because of course when you go to kwa mtaa, you don't want to be seen. You want to be seen as a big boy. So nabeba nguo zangu nina change. I remember one time, you see this mark. This mark. This mark was nilikuwa naruka ukuta. So the ukuta was very high. And I remember nilikuwa nimeonekana. We were smoking, so nikaonekana. So in the event ya hiyo kutoroka sasa, I had to jump over a wall. And this wall had zile chupa zinakuanga pale juu. So I just grabbed nini na nikajirusha, and in the event nikakatwa hapa hivi. So hii kaanguka. I went home, nikawaambia, of course I cooked up a story and nikatibiwa. But I didn't stop there. I still continued nikipenda mtaa. So Buru, I was just in and out. I was finally trying to settle in, but I was in and out. My dad would constantly come to school. I remember one time he came and he found that I was not in school even for a whole week. And that triggered something in him, and we were not very
in good terms.
And Buru, I would try a little bit to settle in Buru because it was a day school. I would come sometimes and just do whatever, do assignments, and then narudi mtaa. And being a day school, in a follow up like boarding school. Okay. Just come, do whatever you are doing, and then you are out. And it happened that whole year. And then a point came whereby now, instead of kuleta shida shule, sasa kwa mtaa. In our estate now, the boys that we joined, nika-join vijana wenye walikuwa napenda ku break into homes.
So you joined a gang?
Like a gang, yes.
In a village?
Yes, around our estate.
Around your estate.
And I remember we would jump in people's home, tunangoa vitu, tunangoa mita za maji, tunangoa vitu, fittings.
And you're still smoking, bangi, and those types?
I still continue smoking hizo kabisa, and drinking kabisa, na kutumia miraa kabisa. And now we would steal now. Sasa sai, because of it's a day school now, the things I was now practicing them sasa in the estate.
You steal in people's home, shops, or yes, where were you particularly?
Tunaingia kwa nyumba ya mtu, tunangoa vitu, ukiona umeacha bike, we pita with the bike. Tunaiba sasa zile vitu ziko nje sasa. Then we go sell, and then tunakunywa ama tunatumia hizo vitu. Tunatumia. So at a point, I remember
this. Now you're in Form 3.
Now in Form 3 now.
Okay, you have graduated from being from harassing student. Yes. You are now a robber in an estate.
Tumeingia kwa estate, tumeanza kuibia watu vitu sasa.
When are you going to study? When are you studying?
I was in Buruburu. I was in and out. I would come study just as a formality to show that I was there, so that when inaonekana ulikuwa shule. Because I was actually required to personally mark, register niko shule every morning and evening. That was the requirement, the instruction that dad gave the school to make sure ninaonekana shule. So it was not a problem, because I would mark, and then at a break time around 10,
you sneak.
And I sneak.
Then you come back in
and
the
then
evening,
in the evening I come,
and you mark that you are there.
But now it got to a point I was not able to mark in the evenings. In the morning sawa, but in the evening, because my dad amenifikisha shule, so I have to mark. So nikakuwa tumemeet some other boys kule Dandora. There was a guy in Dandora mwenye alikuwa anatutuma tu nini, we break into homes, and tuko tunamletea hizi vitu now, tuko tunamletea these things, and then he will sell them and give us money, and we get money kabisa, and we go back to our tabias. And now we started graduating. I started graduating
from
and,
where to where?
From now sasa kuiba vitu za nje into now kuingia into homes. And I remember kuna vifunguzu nitango bonoko.
Bonoko.
Fake. I remember tukatengenezewa fungu. Sasa hiyo day tumepewa fungu, one of our friends alikuwa ameshikwa mahali kule Umoja. Akapewa mob justice.
Akakufa.
I don't remember, but he was given a mob justice. So hiyo ndo the day nimepatiwa fungu. Sasa nimeambiwa sasa ni kuingia kufungua
na kuchukua
kile unachukua na unaponyoka. My heart ikasikia hapana. Nikasikia staki ya kufungua, afadhali ya kuchukua hizi vitu nje.
So you refunded the key back or
we still stayed with the keys. We would use them mahali unajua kwa hii nyumba hakuna mtu. We would try to use them to your house unajua hakuna mtu.
When we come back, you tell me more about now the 4th year. What did you do and how did you end up in school and how many marks did you score? And we will talk about that. Viewer, wherever you are, remember this is Baraka TUPU TV with me, Kagame Bernard, your host, and today we have Edwin, who have a very interesting story, and this is to encourage the parent and also to motivate students to get to know that the choice you make today will affect your tomorrow. So it's good to be on your toe and get to know exactly what you want today. Your parent is able to give you education, but it is also your choice. It is your mandate to make use of that chance given by your parent. If you don't use it well, now you will never blame your parent. And when we come back, we'll get to see what exactly happened and when did he started turning. Where was the turning point? And we will be able to take you through from that. As we come back, remember this is Baraka TUPU TV. Viewer, wherever you are, it's good to know that God is always at the center of our lives. He drives us the way He wants us, and He takes us into valleys, hills, and the wilderness of life. Sometimes it is a taste of life, but when we graduate, God is able to impact, and He's able to nourish and promote us from grace to grace through the ministry and the services we offer to Him through humanity. Edwin is here, a student in high school, doing all sorts of things, crazy things, abusing his father, no respect for the parent. But good thing is the mother is there with him, walking with him and guiding him. But at the end of the day, we don't see him, we don't see hope as if he's going to change. Now he's in Form 4, the 4th school. What will happen after this? When is he going to turn around and change completely for the goodness of his life? This is Baraka TUPU TV. And with me, Kagame Bernard, Edwin, 4th year. How did it go? You did your KCSE. How did you perform?
My 4th year, different school, the 4th school. That school was kind of a bit crazy. It was not a strict school.
Okay.
This is where I can say where all the rejects, all the notorious boys
were dumped.
Were dumped. Yeah, so I went to that school, and that school, it was not like a school per se.
It was like what?
It was not kind of a school where you follow the full curriculum of the
government. It's like an approved school.
It was like an approved somehow, because we would wear even home clothes.
All right.
But it was it was registered, and I did my form for there. And because I was in and out, I was sikusoma vizuri. And my KCSE I didn't do well because I got a D plane.
Okay.
And I remember.
Did that surprise you?
It didn't surprise me. Actually, I was surprised because I didn't expect to get a D plane. I expected to get an E.
An E.
Because knowing where I was at, D was a good one for me. So I consoled myself that I had not failed it. Yes, I did the Form 4, got the results I got, and now since I graduated kuingia kwa mtaa, where now
you can do all sorts of things.
You can do all things now. You believe now you are grown up. And my dad told me, now you are 18, you are grown up now.
You can make your own choice.
You can make your own choices. So the choices I started making was now, my mom was there always telling me, no, you have to go to college. But my mom was always there with me kabisa, saying,
which college are you going to go with that kind of a grade?
Uyu lazima ende shule. So I wanted to do, I've always had a love for computer engineering. So I told my mom I want to go to to do computer
engineering. Okay.
So my dad said, okay, if this is what he wants to do, it seems like maybe I'm a reformer.
I think you had a very nice father.
Yes, my dad
was very patient with you, right?
Very, very patient, very good man. Really
beside all those dramas and tribulations of life that you're taking him through, he's even willing to take you to college.
Yes, really honor my dad. I salute you, Dad, very much. May the Lord bless you. So now he was able to look for a college for me, college called Railways Training Institute.
Railways Training Institute, that is in Nairobi town.
Yes, South B.
South B.
So nikaenda kule, he chose a course for me, kanichagulia electric engineering. So now when now I finally joined kule, tuka join hostel. Now this thing of commuting is not working, because kumta you are doing better, you go there and just do whatever you are going to do. So when I joined there, you know the school borders Islam in Mukuru. So kule what I did, I started selling bangi. So we would go find it where we are finding it. Mieneo za Kikuyu, mieneo za Kayole, we go. I come with it, naibeba kwa bag, I come with it to school. And you become... And now I started becoming a peddler. So selling all those drugs. Selling drugs, yeah. And I remember even before joining the college, I had already started becoming a peddler, because people would come, meet with people. So you must be very rich. Because they would call me reggae elder. Because I love reggae. Was your music. Well, I love reggae. I would always wear vitu za reggae. Shirts za Bob Marley, reggae every time. Red, yellow, green. And of course dreads on your head. And Marvin, I started dreads, but aziko zinakaa poa na mimi. All right. Okay. So I nikaanza kuwa peddler with another friend. That friend of mine he had joined Mungiki. So we would help each other. Tulikuwa tunatengeneza hivi, tunauzia students, tunauza kwa mtaa. And we did that I joined in 2007. 206, because I finished my form 4 in 205. No, when I went to form 3 nilirudia, because nilirudia. So when I went to the desk nilirudia, because form 2 I was not. So nika repeat, nikarudishwa form 3. So nikamaliza shule 205. So when I joined college it was 206 June. Nikafanya certificate in electrical, nikaifanya for a whole year. That year nilikuwa tu tunauza hiyo kitu. But I did well. Nilipita vizuri, because that time niliona yenyewe, let me try to settle at least, nisome as I do this. So I remember wale watu tulikuwa tunauza nao, the gang, ile gang nilikuwa nayo, our gang, everybody was expelled from college now. From college, everybody that surrounded me was expelled. And I remember I was alone now. All my friends wote wamefukuzwa, so nimebaki peke yangu. So what we do, huyo ameexpelliwa, he would bring me the stuff, tunatengeneza, I sell, tunagawana. Now because he's expelled now. And I remember when he was expelled, he wanted me to join that your group ya Mungiki. But God helped me. I was not able to. So you were almost recruited to join that group. That time that ilikuwa imechacha sana. And I've lost friends. Even in high school, I've lost friends. I've lost friends wenye wamenini na bunduki. Nimezika friends wenye wameuliwa na bunduki. When you go to bury your friend through that kind of lifestyle that you had chosen, what came in your mind? Didn't you had to sit down and say that I'm going to change? No, you always see the police as the enemy. You don't see what your friend was doing. Now you see the police as the enemy who was taking out your friend. Okay. So it never hits your mind that maybe you are the one who is in the wrong. You'll be the next. Because I remember even in Dandora, I was very close to be shot, because I remember nikutana bunduki na police who surrounded our CIDs. And I remember so many times nimekutana na the gun imekewa kwa mdomo, imekewa. There was a time there was like vijana walikuwa nauliwa sana. Thank God he preserved me at that time. That is the time now I saw a lot of my friends now dying. Ingine tumesoma now primary, tumesoma now high school. You're with somebody today, tomorrow unasikia is dead. So it never really hit me. There was a time I started working with friends who were Now sasa they would carry that thing hapa sasa.
What is the thing?
The gun now.
The gun.
Yes.
They would carry the gun in the street.
Rental ilikuwa inarentiwa na 3,000. You go, you do your stuff, and then unakuja unalipa. Now there was another boy who was very notorious, but he was a boxer. He was very good in boxing. And I remember one time he came and told me, please, naona umetembea na hawa watu si watu wazuri. Stop walking in now because
I'll fight you back.
Because nitakugonga mimi mwenyewe until wachane na hawa.
So that was a threat.
Yes, he was a friend who really threatened, and he was really on my case. Every time he would see me and tell me, go back home, go home. I don't know what was happening with him. Yako kwa mtaa, he's also using whatever we are using,
but he's warning you.
But he's really like on my case, telling me not to be continuing that course. So high school, college, nimeuza ikitu, we finished college. Now I remember there was a time now in the course niko na hiyo bangi tulikuwa tunaita stone. Stone is something easy furushi and then you
a pile of packed bangi,
yes,
before it's being in a rolls.
Yes. So this is now where my turning point came. My mother would really be on my case, telling me about getting born again, telling me to go to church. When I finished the high school, I had joined youth group in our church. I was just to please my mom.
You're still selling your bangi?
Yes.
But now you have obeyed your mommy.
I've obeyed my
You're
mom.
now in a church.
I'm starting going
and you
to
have
church.
Joined youth group.
Yes.
All right.
I've joined youth group because now she had a team of prayer warriors who would really pray for me, and they would come to her home and tell me, we are praying for you, you'll get born again, and they would just laugh at them. I would really
look at them and what the hell are you
I really didn't like
me?
people who were born again. I really nilikuwa nawatukana sana.
Okay. No. So taking your child to church has its own benefit, even when it doesn't make any sense. Edwin's mother have decided to take her son to the church. Edwin has joined the youth group in the church, but he doesn't want to be associated with born-again Christians. When will God start working in him? So when was the turning point? When did you start changing? When did you start seeing the right?
No, if I can go back to the youth group, there was this girl in the youth group who I really used to like. I think she also helped me to be going to the youth group.
Because you liked her?
Because I liked her. So nilikuwa naenda sana because najua yuko hapo. Because her mother was one of the people who would pray for me and telling me, because she was a church leader, the mother of that lady would tell me, oh, you'll get born again, you're a man of God, blah, blah. So I used to like the daughter. So now I would go to church and stay there because the daughter is there. So I remember my mother was really on my case every time. And there was my turning point came when one day I had that kifurushi yangu now kuitengeneza sasa. Kwa nimeitengeneza sasa into those slim rolls. I had 21 rolls. Those were not for selling. They were for me.
To take.
For me, yes.
21?
Yes. I had gotten to a point whereby nilikuwa nakani kama nimeanza sasa kuzuba.
Okay.
Because now ninakula mogoka, kitu inaitwa mogoka, and navuta hii bangi. I remember as I was telling you, there was a time I felt like nitoe nguo nikimbie na sijui niende wapi. Because one of my best friend actually, he ran mad. Because siku moja nasikia alitoanga tu nguo. And that is how life yake iliharibika, because he went mad. He ran
now
mad.
You here feeling doing the same.
Now na mimi niko hapo ninasikia tu, I feel like nasikia there's a kind of joto ndani yangu, nasikia kutoa tu nguo nikimbie. But there was something that was just happening in my life at that time. So now I'm going to the youth group. Now when that day I had those 21 rolls, ilikuwa ni 31st 2008 31st. So the rolls were for me to enjoy with my friends. You know the way what happens, you light something and then you give to your and it goes, you light another one, it goes, you light another one, it goes,
21 of them.
And then it goes.
You had them in your pocket?
Yeah, I had them in my pocket. I had mira yangu hapa and masigara yangu nilikuwa nayo. So that day nilikuwa na hiyo furushi. I told myself, I wanted to kununua nini because you know miraa wanakulanga na big cheese.
Yeah, chewing gums.
Yes, so I went to buy chewing gum. In the event going to buy chewing gum, I met another friend who told me, my friend, let's sit down tuvute kitu and then we part ways. There was also another brother who was mad, but he was ni wale watu the mad people we see walking kwa mtaa. I didn't know, I knew he was mad, but I found him there smoking this thing. So we were now 3 of us. While we are smoking, suddenly the police came. And they were cocking their guns at us and telling us, kama ni mwanaume kimbia.
Okay.
When I heard that and I would see guns all over pointed at us, we are 3, but they're like 7, 8 police officers who had guns and they were pointing and telling us, today ukijaribu kuamka hapo leo ni siku yako, utakuwa kichungi. So mimi nikiwa na zile zangu nikazificha, nikazirusha na huko nyuma nikizificha so that they would not see, but they had already seen. So we surrendered, tukalala chini, tukachapwa na zikapatikana, tukawekwa pingu. Yes. So I remember that day I made a prayer to God. Nikamwambia God,
what did you say in that prayer?
Ukiniokoa hapa, I'll get born again. I told God that.
Did he do it?
Imagine those 2 friends of mine. One was a mad one, but this other one alikaa jela because of that event. Alikaa jela for a whole year. But one police officer nikamwambia please acha niambie baba yangu kwenye kumeenda. So yes, so I called my dad, blah 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 blah, and he came, and that day I was forgiven. Nikaambiwa na polisi, wewe
go home,
given you a warning, if you continue you will not see December 2009.
Now God has saved you from that. Are you going to submit to your promise to God?
Now God has saved me from that, but I didn't keep my promise to God. So nikaendelea with my own ways. But I remember August 2009, 23rd, I was about to run mad. I felt like I'm going to go mad if I don't give my life to Christ. Because I went to church, to the youth group, and then I was having a very crazy hunger that I needed to get born again. That day they didn't call altar call in church.
The pastor forgot to
that day
make an altar call.
So I went back home.
Okay.
But now when I got home, I was not able to sit down. And I was just, I was like crazy. And my mom would ask me, what is wrong with you? I didn't know what was happening. I felt like if I don't surrender now, to my God, life imeisha.
Okay.
So nikasikia pana, nikatoka kwa nyumba. I ran.
To where?
Ran to church. Ran.
The same church?
Literally, yes. To find somebody to pray for me.
Okay.
So I went to look for somebody to pray for me. That is when I found one of the brothers there who was a sound engineer. And I told him, I just knelt and I told him, I want to give my life to Jesus.
Now
and now pray for me. I don't want hizi vitu zote. I want to leave everything and give my life to Jesus.
And he prayed for
He prayed for me. And there was a peace that came upon my heart and a joy that filled me right there. And then my journey now ikaanzia hapo. But to cut the long story short, when I gave my life that day, I say like some months, then it backslide again.
Hey. Okay.
And I went back to my old ways.
Okay.
And I remember telling God, mimi sijamalizana na hizi vitu.
Ngoja nipate nafasi ya kumaliza.
Wacha niende nimalizane na hizi maneno. Nasikia bado sijamalizana. So I backslid. Nikakaa tena. Then there was always something ilikuwa inanivuta
back to God.
Yeah. So I remember, unajua, when I got born again, because they knew me, they knew the kind of lifestyle I was received well. I was mentored well. I joined classes, foundation classes, and they used to love me. Nikaanza kupatiwa positions in church because they knew me and they knew my lifestyle. So I backslid, nikatoka hiyo church.
But after after a short time you came back.
After a short time, I came back again.
All right.
Then I backslid another time.
All right.
And then I remember one time I just felt like, no, this is too much. I can't continue living like this. And I told God, now I think I'm done. I now surrender. And I just made a prayer and told God, now I surrender.
Okay.
Please, I don't want these things again.
And from that time, you have never
And from
backslid.
that time up to today, God has been faithful, let me
Right.
tell you, to the point now I've become a pastor.
Today, as we speak with you, a pastor.
As we speak now, I am a pastor. I have had the privilege of beginning a church, starting a church from scratch, and I've pastored people. And right now where I'm currently, I'm a man now under authority. I serve under Apostle Dominic Karanja. Our church is in the city. And by the grace of God, I have this desire to talk to the youths and to speak to them and to tell them concerning
to make good choices of life.
Make good choices in life, because there were some choices, actually there are some things up to today I can see as a result of my choices I made
that
back
you had
then.
made. All right. So God is very gracious.
Yes.
And very faithful.
Yes.
That even in your lifestyle, he never stopped walking with you.
Yes.
Now he has changed you and has changed your life completely. Now you are born again, a father and a husband and a pastor. Do you regret of your lifestyle? Either past or current?
I would say that there are some things I did. Of course, I cannot get very into details because of the things that I did. I can't go into details, but there are some things I wish I would not have done because they have affected me in a negative manner.
All right.
But still, I really appreciate God because I was able to do whatever I did. Now I can be able to tell somebody and instruct somebody on the way to go. And I can be able to stand and say and make a choice, a right choice, and say, I have experienced these things. I usually tell my brother that there are certain things that cannot tempt me because I've gone through them. And I can be able to tell you this direction you are taking is a wrong one because I also took that. So that experience is able to help me and has made me to be the kind of person I am.
Good.
Actually, my life, as I always tell the youth, that your life is a product of your choices. Yes, I may have made the wrong choices and wrong decisions in my life, but where I am now, I know God has always, it has been God working with me up to this point. And it has been a learning process.
Okay.
And I've learned whatever I have learned so that I can be a benefit to somebody, to a young man or a young woman, and tell them, please don't take this course in your life.
All right.
Take this other direction.
Good. Now look at that camera.
Yes.
And talk to a parent who have or has a child of the lifestyle that you had before. Talk to that parent, and at the same time talk to that young boy or girl who is living that kind of a lifestyle. Talk to him or her and give him hope. All right.
Yeah.
And talk to them.
Amen. I would like to talk to parents right now, and one thing I would like to see parents do is engage their children. Be concerned with your son or your daughter. Try to know what they are doing. Try to know their friends. Try to look at what they are doing in school. You know, most parents, unfortunately, these days, they are very busy. But I would love to see parents engage and become friends with their child. Know his line of thoughts. What is your child, your son or daughter thinking? Who are his friends? If you can be able to know the kind of friends that your child is working with, you can be able to know that whether your son or your daughter is walking in the right way or the wrong way. And if you are able to know that, please become a friend to your child. And don't forget, parents, take your son or your daughter to church. Sometimes you may not understand what is happening. You may take him to church and you are expecting him to go the way the church has instructed them, but you find that your child is still rebellious. Don't give up. There is something that God is doing upon your son or your daughter. Just be consistent. Take them to church. Let them join the youth groups. Let them know the pastors. Let them be engaged in whatever activities that are happening in church. Let them be engaged. I thank the church because the church knew the kind of person I was, but I was still not chased away. I was still accepted. So even the church and the leaders of the church, when you see this kind of children come who are called notorious, don't chase them away from church. Let them be around people who are born again. Let them be around people of the church. And I know God will do something, a work in them. And let me tell to the young men and the young women, I want you to know that your life is a sum of your choices and your decisions. And every decision you make will affect your life positively or negatively. I know you've heard that, you've been talked to, you heard that countless times, but I still insist on it because it is the truth. I am a product of the decisions I've made in life. Though I have walked the way I have walked, yet even now where I am, I can be able to thank God because where I am, I know is not where I will be tomorrow. If I can make the right choice now, my tomorrow is guaranteed to be a better tomorrow. So please, those who are in drugs, let me tell you, those things, they don't benefit you. They will not they will waste your life. Many of the youth, they think they have the whole time. And the best time of your life is in the time of your youth, because in that time you can be able to make the right decision and set the right course of your life. Whatever you need to do in your life, you can be able to set that course and set that agenda, and your life become productive. May the Lord bless you, and just know God is together with you in every decision. If you have fallen, it's time to dust yourself and pick yourself up and make the right choice. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past. Right now you can decide to become somebody better and decide to make good of your life. The Lord bless you.
And that's all we had today. Thank you so much for joining us. You can follow us on our YouTube channel. This is the BARAKA TUPU TV. On Facebook, BARAKA TUPU. And with me, Kagame Bernard, I'm here to say just make the positive choices that will not affect your life in a negative way. And until next time, the Lord bless and keep and watch you. And this is from me, Kagame Bernard, saying, Kwaheri sana.